Hello, welcome back to 0 to 60 Motoring. My name is Bill. Under 0 to 60 Motoring, we seek to give you car advice and car tips and make your car ownership journey or purchase easy. Today I'm going to review the 2015 Mazda Axela. It's also called a Mazda 3 depending on the market where you are sourcing your car from. Those who are getting their units from Japan, they are normally called the Mazda Axela, but if you're getting your unit from the UK, Singapore, Australia, it's going to be called the Mazda 3. So the naming is quite different, but everything under the hood and the styling is pretty similar. These are sedan. There is also a hatchback, which many people like. Now, these are 2015 Mazda Axela competes with cars like the Mitsubishi Galant 40s, the Subaru Impreza, and maybe the Toyota Axio. In recent times, Mazda has been a brand that has been on the rise, of course, and the reasons are pretty simple. The styling here and what the car offers versus the competitor are the sole reasons why the Mazda Axela is currently giving cars like the Toyota Axio a run for their money. What are the engine options for the 2015 Mazda Axela or Mazda 3? There are 4 engine flavors. This is the entry level or the base engine. It's a 1.5 liter 1500cc. It's natural aspirated. It makes 110 brake horsepower, which is channeled to the front wheels via a 6-speed automatic transmission. When everyone like the Axio, the Mitsubishi Galant, something like the Toyota Auris, they are putting in CVTs, the Mazda Axela come with a conventional 6-speed automatic transmission. If you don't like this engine and you want something bigger, you can step up to a 2-liter version, which is coupled with a hybrid setup. That is a little bit punchier, and of course it has better fuel figures than this one. If you don't like hybrid power, but you want something that can pin you into your seat, you can step up to a 2.2-liter turbo diesel engine. Now, that 2.2 turbo diesel engine, it's shared with cars like the Mazda CX-5 and the Mazda Tenza, which are elder siblings of this car, of course. In all those options, you find a 6-speed automatic transmission. Another engine flavor you can pick is a 2000cc petrol engine, which is also still shared with a CX-5 and a Mazda Tenza. In that, with that engine, you also get a front-wheel drive, of course, and the transmission still remains a 6-speed automatic. This is a 1.5-liter petrol engine. It's the easiest engine to live with of the 4 engine flavors I've mentioned. The reasons are pretty simple. This 1.5 liter is natural aspirated. It's a petrol engine, of course, and it's very simple to live with. For example, something like the 2.2 liter turbo diesel, of course it's turbocharged and then it's a diesel, meaning while it has the punchiest, it's the punchiest of the 4 engines, it requires more to maintain. This engine is the most reliable engine, of course, of the 4 engines, and it's pretty simple to live with looking at the fuel economy. Now look at this sedan styling. I could say it maintains a minimalist look when compared to the Sportback, and there's not much you can say about it if the styling is anything to go by. Let's start with the rear this time. On the right side we have this Sky Active badge, basically to tell you the technology of fuel combustion in this car. On the left side we have this Axela badge, and then we have this Mazda badge here. And for the styling, if the previous generation of the Axela is meant to go by the boot space, the other one had a, let me say, a little bit a bigger trunk, the previous generation sedan. This one is a little bit compressed, and that one has an impact on the boot space, but it's not that much. Now come to the side profile. On the side profile there's nothing much you can say, but you have these chrome finishes here, side mirror winkers, and then because this is the base trim or the entry level, it comes with a 16-inch alloy wheels. For those who will settle for the hatchback or the Sportback version, you have an option of going up to 18 inches if you want bigger wheels, of course. Up front, from 2014, all Mazda cars received the Kodo Soul of Motion design language. That's why you're going to find this face pretty similar to what you're going to find in the Mazda Demio and the Mazda CX-5 or even the Mazda Tenza. Actually, the Mazda 3 is the 3rd car that received the caudal of motion after the Mazda Tenza and the Mazda CX-5. Up front we have this Mazda logo badge here, it's big, and then we have the chrome finishes here. The lights here are xenon headlights. We have these fog lights here, and the face, the execution itself somewhat looks more aggressive compared to what the predecessor had. Actually, the predecessor had a big bumper, and I could say it was more of smiling. This one has an aggressive face, if you ask me. Yeah. Welcome to the cabin of this 2015 Mazda Axela or Mazda 3, the sedan, of course. Now, coming from 2014 up front, Mazda completely redesigned their interiors, and one of the most notable changes is this center infotainment screen which sprouts from this dashboard. The infotainment screen is controlled from this center console here using this rotary knob. Yeah, you can switch between different modes, for example, Bluetooth, Stitcher, AM, FM, USB. All these modes are available from this center console. Other features in this Mazda Axela include you have two USB ports in this console here, and then you also have a memory card slot here. You have an auxiliary port, and then next to it you have a 12-volt charging port. Other features from the driver's position in this cabin include media control buttons on this left side of the steering wheel, and then we have the cruise control here on this right side. Now, because this car is a 6-speed automatic transmission, but if you want to simulate a manual transmission, you have these paddle shifters behind the steering wheel. So you can play between gear 1 and gear 6 using the paddle shifters. Extra features on this right side include this RVM, basically standing for Rear Vehicle Monitoring System. We have iStop for saving you your gas mileage, and then you have the traction control button here. Yeah. Now, another cool feature you may like about this 2015 Mazda Axela is this heads-up display. When you are on the road, you don't need to look at this odometer here, but you can look forward and focus on this heads-up display. It normally displays your speed. Yeah. Now, that's all I can say about the cabin of this 2015 Mazda Axela. Improvement and easily a class leader at the price point. Let's talk about the spacing accommodation of this 2015 Mazda Axela sedan. This is the amount of headroom I have. It's I could say it's accommodative, it's not small. Legroom, it's also good, and I feel comfortable in this seat. Up front, I don't think whether the driver or the co-driver will have any issues matters the legroom and matters the headroom. But for these seats, because they are manually adjusted, you may find this driving position a little bit, let me say, it sinks. So you may need to adjust the seat well such that you can have a good view of the road ahead of you. You may need to elevate it a little bit if you are a shorter person. Now, coming to the second row of this 2015 Mazda Axela sedan, you can check the amount of legroom I have. Now, the other day I was reviewing a 2015 Honda Fit, and I can tell you the Honda Fit rear spacing is bigger, or the Honda Fit rear seats are more accommodative than the 2015 Mazda Axela, and that is the biggest undoing of the Mazda Axela. I've been in a hatchback version. The issue is still the same. Rear passengers won't have that big legroom. The headroom, you won't have an issue with it, because a person like me who is 5'9", I'm easily fitting here and I don't have any problem with the headroom. Yeah, but a good thing with these seats, I feel that they are pretty comfortable, of course, for the person seated here and the other person seated on this side. For the center place, it may not be that comfortable, especially for long distance traveling, considering that you sit somewhat raised higher a little bit. Thus it may not be that comfortable. But then the seats themselves, right, left, they feel comfortable. Now, this is the amount of boot space you have with this 2015 Mazda Axela. The reason most of the buyers will consider Mazda Axela sedan over something like the hatchback is because of the boot space, because the boot space of the hatchback is not one of the best in the segment. Yeah, this boot space can swallow like 2 to 3 briefcases. It's bigger than the hatchback, and that is the sole reason you're gonna consider this over the hatchback. The Mazda Axela, these are sedan version. Pricing starts at 1.65 all the way to 1.8 million, depending on the specification and the trim level. That is the same price point for the hatchback version. The Toyota Axio plays around 1.6 million, the Mitsubishi Galant 40 is 1.7 million, and the Subaru Impreza is the cheapest normally at 1.5 million. Now, how do the four cars, how can you rank the Mazda Axela to the four cars, maybe if you can use the term value for money? I will say the Mazda Axela has the best value for money compared to all those cars because of its interior styling. It's way different, it's way better than the rest, and then even for the exterior styling it's still better. Now if you're looking at something like the driving dynamics, under the hood here we have a 1.5 liter which is married to a automatic transmission. Other options in that class mostly come with a CVT gearbox, so that's why I'm saying reliability here is guaranteed because the transmission here is bulletproof and the engine is pretty simple to live with. And that is the sole reason many people will prefer the Axela over the competition. The interior crafting, the exterior crafting, and maybe the robustness of the transmission. Now, that's all about this 2015 Mazda Axela sedan review. If you have any other questions regarding Mazda cars in general or cars in general, you can write to 026 Motoring. Will respond to them and give you unbiased car advice. And if you want to purchase a car but you don't know what to do or the pros and cons of each car, you can still ask on 026 Motoring. We can help you identify a clean car in the local yards, take you step by step in your car ownership journey.